two, three. This time of day, everything's okay. I take a long look around, I have to say, this time of year, it becomes clear.
My name is Willy Jones. I am your host for this show, your friends and neighbors. This is, I think, our fourth show, and I have a couple of interesting folks with us today. They are students from Mount Anthony Union High School, but they also are involved in a production that is coming up, or it may have played by the time you see this. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens in the editing. But the show is called Almost Maine, and it is a delightful show. It is so much fun. It's charming. It's sweet. It's romantic. It's a perfect show. Would have been great on Valentine's Day. So I think it's what we should do now is introduce you to our guests. And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever this happens to be. We never know what time it will be on. First, I'm going to say hello to Abby. And Abby, your last name is Hensley, right? And Travis Cordo.
Correct.
Right. Now, Travis and Abby both have parts in this show, and I think it will be a lot of fun to have a little discussion with them today about the show and other things. We've got a couple teenagers here, so it's kind of nice for an old man like me who just celebrated his birthday, who was 69, to find out a little bit about what's going on in the world of the teenagers, but we'll see what happens. So, Almost Maine. Before we talk about that though, I need to speak about the last musical I saw at MAU, and that was Urinetown. You were both in Urinetown, right? Now, Abby, what part did you play in Urinetown?
I didn't really have a speaking part because I'm a freshman, so I just went for like a little background person.
Okay, okay, and I didn't get to see both casts either. I usually try to go to see both casts because of the double casting that they do. And Travis, what did you do in the show?
I played Officer Lockstock, the narrator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a nice little part. Yeah, that's a great little part. Now, were you double cast too?
We were.
Okay, now who was your partner? Who were you working with?
Satchel LaFabe.
I'm pretty sure it was you that I saw in that show. Urinetown, it's a terrible title, but it's like Almost Maine. It's sweet, it's charming, and romantic, but it also has that little twist that you don't think is going to happen with that show. And first time I saw or heard it, I never got to see the show. First time I heard it, I thought, oh my God, this is such a good show for a high school to do, because there was a lot of chorus work, and I liked that a lot. So, all right, well, let's find out a little bit about you. So you said you're a freshman. So tell me a little bit about Abby. Well, what can you tell me about yourself?
I don't know. What do you want to know?
Oh, well, anything. Are you a Benningtonian? Were you born in Bennington, or are you new to the area? Or?
I lived in Bennington for about like 8 years, 8 or 10, I don't know.
And are you involved in any sports at the school besides doing theater? No?
Not anymore.
No? Do you have any hobbies? Anything you like to do on your off time? Maybe you don't have much off time.
Not really.
No?
I don't really get home till like 7, and then homework and stuff.
Yeah, and homework. Yeah, homework.
Yeah.
I gotta get that homework in there too. Yeah. All right, Travis. What about you? You said you told me out in the lobby that you are a junior.
Mm-hmm.
And are you a Benningtonian? Are you a native?
No.
No. Where did you come from originally?
I came from around the Boston area, and I moved twice before I landed here.
Oh, okay. And same thing as I was asking Abby. Is there anything you can tell us about yourself that might be of interest to us all?
Well, like most of the people in the drama club, both Abby and I are involved with the music program.
Oh, yeah, right.
Specifically DeCapos.
And were you involved in the romance cabaret, I'm assuming?
Kind of. I waited tables.
You waited tables, so you weren't one of the singers?
No.
You weren't singing. Okay, all right. Hey, nothing wrong with waiting tables. I missed that this year. That's always a wonderful little program. What about sports, hobbies, anything like that in your life?
No.
No? Is theater something that you think you want to continue on with, or?
Yeah, I plan to make a career out of it.
You do? Oh, well, good for you. What about you, Abby, now that you've discovered theater?
I really enjoy it. I want to like go into movies and stuff.
Movies?
Yeah.
Okay. In movies, directing?
Into movies, hopefully
You'd
into
like
directing.
to get into acting. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're both pretty serious about this then. What you said you're a freshman, so how was that first audition for you? When you decided, okay, I'm going to go out for a play here at MAU?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah.
You mean, were you nervous, or
Oh,
you just didn't know what to expect, or?
I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect, and yeah, I just went in there and they asked me to sing a song, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. And I had to turn around and I didn't face them, and then I sang the song, and it was like I sang like a different version because I didn't have the music sheet with me.
Oh, okay.
So it was
What about for Almost Maine, the audition for that?
Oh, that well, eventually I had gotten used to like used to it, so it wasn't as bad. It was.
Did you know the character you were going to be reading for, or you just went in and did a cold reading of just a little scene from the play, or how did your auditions go?
For Urinetown, I just read a little Sally part, but for Almost Maine, I read the part that I got.
Oh, the part that you got.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. And what about you, Travis? How were you at auditioning?
My first audition. Well, my first audition for a musical, which was the first time I actually had to audition in theater. I had been taking the CDC class for a while, and my friend Tim literally dragged me from the class to Miss Sweet's room to do the audition. It wasn't really premeditated at all. I was told what I was going to be auditioning for,
right?
And I just kind of got swept in with the current, and
you enjoyed, and you thought, well, all right, I've gotten myself into this. I guess I can't do anything else. No, I gotta go along with it. So.
In too deep.
Yeah, yeah. Now you've mentioned Miss Sweet's name. We've mentioned Mr. Foley's name. This play that we're seeing. This is really the CDC Theater Arts program, this production that's going on, right? This is not an MAU theater department.
Almost Maine?
Yeah.
Almost Maine is a drama club production.
Oh, it is a drama club. Okay, but you're both with the CDC. You do the theater arts program also with Mr. Foley and Mr. Peterson. Now, what do you learn at the CDC programs, at the theater arts program there, that's helping you out in the show that you're working on right now, Almost Maine? Or what are you learning in those courses, that course?
Well, in the class, it's theater generalized. We learn a little bit of everything. We pick up tips for directing from Mr. Foley, how to critique a performance, how to perform diction, how to properly get in a character, how to properly write a scene, how to keep your audience entertained.
Now you wrote, did either of you write any of the one acts from this year that I went to see?
I just started the class this semester, so.
Oh, okay. Now, you see, I thought the class was just for juniors and seniors. I didn't realize that freshmen were involved at CDC, the theater.
Me too,
arts.
but I happen to get into it, so it works out.
Oh, good for you. Now, Almost Maine is going to be playing, let's see, March 13th through the 15th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, there's no matinees for this one, right, like the musicals?
There is.
There is going to be a matinee? Oh, great. And in the evenings, is it going to be at 7 or 7:30?
7.
7. And, all right, 13th through the 15th. The show has been double cast too?
Mm-hmm.
In parts? Or
Yeah, in parts.
In parts, okay. Yeah, see, that's really hard. I find it very hard being an audience member if I can't get to both shows. Because watching two different casts doing the same show is like seeing almost two completely different shows. I mean, and it's a wonderful experience as an audience member, and it really upsets me when I can't get to both of them. But hopefully, I will get to see both of the shows, but both of the casts. But I don't know if that'll happen or not. So, Abby, can you tell me about your character in Almost Maine? Who she is and.
All right. Well, my person's Sandrine, and she happens to go to a bar, and it's her bachelorette party, and she's getting married the next day, and she runs into her ex-boyfriend, who's still kind of like likes her and stuff, and is trying to hang out with her, and she just finds it like incredibly awkward, and she just doesn't know what to do, and every time she tries to get away, he's like, no, 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 stay, stay. So she's just, it's like, I don't know.
Now, how old is this character in the show? Do you know how old she's supposed to be about?
I would imagine maybe 24.
Okay. So how do you go about, you're only, what?
15.
15,
almost.
and you're playing a character who's 24 years old. Now, how do you go about thinking, all right, I've got to become 24 years old? How do you do that as a 15-year-old?
It's like, I don't really know. I just practice being more mature and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm in Dream Sequence too, which I have to play like around 22-year-old. So
now, Dream Sequence, that's the one that Katie Beck wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, how did your show go Friday evening?
Oh, that was really fun.
Yeah, and now you're going to the state competition or the whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Not in White River, someplace.
Pine Cobble, I believe.
Pine Cobble? Oh, I thought you had to go up to Wilmington or something. I don't know. I thought you were all going up to Wilmington for this. I'm not sure. I thought that's what Katie and your director Amanda Garcia were saying the other day. But
I think it's in Wilmington. I just might get like, I don't know.
Maybe you're going to do it down at Pine Cobble too. I don't know. I know they said Wilmington. That's exciting that Katie, after what, quite a few years
like
being out of
5.
school, she comes back and her play is being done. That's wonderful. And what about your character, Travis?
I'm the ex-boyfriend that she had just mentioned.
Oh, so you guys you're working the same. So, and you're about the same age?
Around.
Yeah. How do you go about transforming yourself into a 24, 25-year-old guy?
All of the characters in Almost Maine are pretty relatable in their depth and what they're trying to do, what they want, and what they've done. They're not too out there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's not terribly hard to get into character to understand what these people would want or are trying to do.
Now, is this your voice, or have you been working on trying to give yourself this more resounding type voice? Is that something you work on?
Now it comes pretty natural to me.
Natural.
It's
okay.
When it started with the musicals, it hit pretty hard.
Yeah. This show is it's not a very elaborate set. That I don't think you need a really big set or any fancy. Is it going to be pretty, not very, pretty stark? I mean, I don't imagine you need too much except platforms and benches or chairs, things like that, right? So you don't have to worry about everybody getting together and working on the sets. There must be a pretty easy set to construct, I would think.
Oh yeah.
Right? Do you get involved in the construction too, like many of the actors do? Yeah. Now, is that something that is required so that you're getting a taste of what it's like to work not just on the stage as an actor, but to do all these other types of things?
The construction isn't necessarily required. However, the last night with the strike, everyone has to be there unless they have a...
Right. Or else you can't go to the cast party.
What cast party?
Yeah. Oh, no, what? Oh, he just winked when he said that. Oh, okay. Okay, they don't have a cast party, I guess. Wink, wink. That was always the best part. When I was in college, having those cast parties, that was a lot of fun. And in the late 60s, it was a lot of fun. Some people had a little too much fun. And costume-wise, it's pretty natural, the costuming. So are you bringing your own clothes in, or do you have somebody getting costumes for you?
We almost always have someone to help us. Granted, this time they're going to be pretty simple.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be pretty easy for most of us just to take something out of our wardrobe to dress in character.
Right, right. Is there any, I know there's no music involved in this show, is there? Is there any kind of music that you're using that you know of?
No.
No, no. Is the lighting, I would imagine the lighting's going to be pretty easy too, I would think.
Surprisingly, no.
No.
No,
Okay,
there's a
because of all the
scene.
different places.
There's a scene involving Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights.
Oh God, yes.
So that's going to be
Yeah.
a fun trick with the spots.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be, yeah. Who are some of the other people that are in your cast?
We have a lot of the old straight play and musical veterans with us again. We also have, how many freshmen do we have in this play?
I think maybe 3. No. There's Miles, Thea, Miranda, maybe 4 or 5.
Oh, that's great. So there's some upper-and-comers here. Well, that's what they need when they're losing their seniors. Who are some of the... Sarah Solari, is she in this show?
She's not.
No. David Hajnowski.
He's in Dream Sequence.
He's in Dream Sequence, but he's not in this show.
Technically, you're only allowed to be in one of them.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just
okay.
happen to be in both.
Oh, okay. Okay. So technically, okay. Let's see. What else did I want to talk to you guys about here today? What's the difference now? You've done. Let's see. You've had the chance to do a straight play, comedy, or drama, and musical. Have you done? Is this your first show? No, you did Urinetown. So there's a musical. This is a straight play. What's easier for you to? What did you find easier to do? A straight play or the musical? And what's the difference?
Well, I just feel like there's more movement in it, like more movement in the musical and stuff, and it's more like in this one, it's pretty much, I feel like, little one acts put in together as one.
Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly
so
what it's like, yeah.
it's not as I don't feel like as right now, it's not like quite a flow yet.
Uh-huh.
I
Well, you've
just,
still got a little ways to go. Now, Travis, you could probably explain for us the difference between rehearsing a musical and rehearsing a straight play. You've been involved in both here quite a bit. There's a lot more that goes into the directing of a musical. I mean, you got 3 directors that you have to work with. Which director? So you got choreography, you got music, you got directing. What comes first? Do they get you dancing first? Do they start the music first? How do they do that?
It's usually the music first.
Okay.
The music comes first, and the choreography gets pieced together as we go, along with everything else.
And then
You
how does it
asked
all
the
come
difference.
together? How do you finally, what's that first rehearsal like when all of a sudden you've been working on the music, you've been working on choreography, you've been working with Mr. Foley on the direction or whatever, and then all of a sudden you got to put all of those elements together. What's that like, that first rehearsal?
There isn't much of an all of a sudden. It's slow, and I'd like to say painful,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
but I've been trained not to.
Yeah. What about now? You usually have a really good orchestra pit for the musicals. Are you just working with Miss Sweet or whoever on piano and stuff like that? When does the whole orchestra come into the show?
Around the last week of rehearsals, we actually have the pit there as opposed to recordings, and
Right.
Miss Sweet on the piano.
Right. And I think there's quite a few seniors in the pit too now that will be leaving this year too. It's always nice though when I watch these students from when they first join the club, watch it until they graduate, and then and you see they get better and better and better in each show, and it's so much fun to watch the growth. But it's really sad when you see these kids leaving that you've spent 4 years with, but then you see this new talent that's coming up, and it's so kind of fun to I don't know, it's like this whole new life is beginning for the theater arts department. Do you, a lot of people, when they're in a cast, how many are in this cast? Do you know exactly how many? Is it taking the double cast, everybody all together?
Even given that Almost Maine isn't terribly huge compared to our other productions.
Right. Oh, a musical is really huge.
Oh, yeah.
Where was I going to go with that? I was going to take that somewhere, and it went right out of my head. Well, maybe I'll come back to that. So it sounds like after high school, you both are interested in going on further. You're only a freshman. Do you have any idea of where you would like to go? What you'd like to do? Besides, I know you said you'd like to do movies.
I feel like if that didn't work out, because I've been told to think more realistic, I want to I don't really know, because when I see myself, I don't really picture myself doing anything else, because it's not to say that that's all I do in my life, but it's hard to imagine what else I could be able to do.
Who has said to you be more realistic?
My friend.
Yeah.
My dad.
Okay.
Some other people.
See, I had dreams. I mean, I've been an actor since, I've been acting forever. High school, college. I've been worked with Old Castle Theater. I worked with a lot of theaters down in Williamstown, North Adams, Pittsfield Way. And I know when I was a sophomore, no, I guess I was a junior, I went to Burton, and that was many, many moons ago. I thought, oh, I'm all gung-ho. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to be a big star and all this stuff. But my English teacher at that time, Peter Schofstall, he had been an actor, and he ended up teaching. And I remember him taking me to his office one day and saying, you know, I know you're gung-ho about New York, but I really think you need to get your education first, go to college, and then if you still have that urge that you want to be an actor, go for it. And when I graduated, I graduated and was going to be a teacher. So I started teaching down in Pownal, and I figured, well, I'm teaching now, that's it. But then somebody came in to me and said, you know, we understand you acted in college. How about joining a production that we're doing down in Williamstown? It was a community theater. And I said, well, that'd be kind of fun. So then I got very involved in community theater and dinner theater, and then I got involved with Old Castle Theater, and I've been with them since 1987. So it's been a wonderful way. I was able to make money as a teacher, and for a long time I acted. There was no money involved until I became part of Old Castle Theater, which is an equity theater, so I was able to become what they call a professional actor by getting my equity card. So I always appreciated the fact that he told me that, because I've been able to do both. I could have a good living. Well, Vermont teachers are not paid as much as they should be, but and I could do what I loved at the same time. So I think it's the people who said to you, be a little more realistic. It probably, you know, they're probably right. But you know, it's really in the end, it's going to be up to you. It's really going to be what you want to do. What about you, Travis? I mean, you sound like you're really gung-ho to do it.
Since I was a freshman, and we have alumni and professionals come in and they tell us the same thing, you don't choose to be an actor. It is a horrible decision. You are born to be one.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
And yeah, I can't see myself doing anything else. It is what I'm passionate about, and I'm going to be pursuing it for a long time.
I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and you're still young. I mean, you may change your mind. Who knows? But right now, it sounds like you've got your mind made up, and you're going to go for it. So, I think that's an important thing. If that's what you want to do, that's what you should do. And if you want to try to get into movies, you know, maybe you'll have. And of course, you're only a freshman. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few years for you? You may completely change your mind. But I mean, I remember even when I was very young, I wanted to be an actor. It was something I wanted to do. And in grade school, I was never in any of the stuff they did because I'm not a singer. So Mrs. Griffith, the music teacher, always put me in the back, and I never got to be up front, to be, in a lead part. And I always felt bad about that. And by the time I was in 5th grade, I thought, well, by golly, I'm going to direct a play. So I did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with my class, with my friends, and we had a really good time doing that. And I still was having, so I started writing essays in school, and I was a pretty good writer at the time, and I could win an essay, and then I could get up in front of a crowd and read my essay to people. I felt, oh, good, now I do it a little bit. I feel like I'm acting. So it is something that if you have that feeling that you want to act, there's nothing you can do about it. It is something that is going to stick with you or not. So I hope that you all, that both of you can fulfill the wish that your desires right now. I just want to remind folks that we are here. Have been talking about the show Almost Maine, the production next production at MAU from the Drama Club. It's playing from March 13th through the 15th, and you said it's going to be at 7 or 7:30 at night.
7.
7 o'clock in the evening, and there will be a matinee on Saturday. So the matinee usually is at 2. I'm assuming. I'm glad, it's so nice that you have matinees for most of these shows, because a lot of older people do not like to be out at night, especially in the winter. It's been so cold this year, and I think a matinee is perfect for people who want to, some older people that don't feel that comfortable driving or whatever. They can get out and go to a matinee if they want to. Do you have a lot of family members that will be there that night, Abby, cheering you on? And
yeah,
you think you'll have quite a crowd there?
I'll probably just have my parents, my
Yeah.
brother, and my grandparents.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are the important people there. Travis, what about? But you got a big family? Got to have a big family showing up for this?
No.
No.
Usually my parents come 1 or 2 nights, but I make sure that they keep it to a dull roar and a light crowd.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So this is Travis Gordeau and Abby Hensley that we're speaking to. Let's get away from the show for a few minutes. Being an old teacher from long back, I taught 3rd grade for 29 years. I always have to, if I have young people on, I have to ask them about what they're reading. I'm still a teacher. Now, you said you do a little reading. Are you reading anything at the moment? I'm sure you don't have a lot of time, but...
I just started reading, I believe, the Divergent.
Divergent.
Yeah.
That's the movie I was going to ask you about. This is a movie that's coming. It's a series, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a series, and it's Shailene Woodley and Theo James, I think. The show is coming out in a couple weeks. I know it's sometime in March. Mm-hmm. So this is you're just reading the first one. Mm-hmm. Do you know, is there 3 in the series? They say it's going to be the new Hunger Games. That's what they're saying.
I think there's 3.
3? Are you a fan of the Hunger Games?
I am.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were. Yeah, Divergent. It looks like it's going to be very interesting. This new young actress, Shailene Woodley, who is so good. I don't know if you saw The Descendants, a movie that you should see. I don't know how you guys R-rated movies, but there was a movie called The Spectacular Now. And if you get a chance to see that movie, it is so good. And she's wonderful. She was so good as George Clooney's daughter in The Descendants, too. She's a wonderful young actress. Good. Divergent. Now, are you into that type of like science fiction type stuff? Or I guess they call it romance science? I don't know. What is the term they have for these Twilight books and movies?
I guess it just depends on the book, really.
Yeah.
If it's a good book and I like it, I'll read it in about 2 days.
Uh-huh.
But if it's not, it will take me like 2 weeks.
Are you one of these people who you start reading a book and if you don't like it, you say, okay, that's it, I'm done? Or do you keep barreling through?
Like, I get probably about halfway and I'm like, Yeah, often it's just like tomorrow or something, and then I just kind of forget about the book and start a new one.
Yeah. See, I can't do that. Once I start a book, I have to finish it. I cannot. My wife thought I was crazy. You know, if she got started a book, she didn't like it. She said, "Life is too short. Life is just too short to read a book I don't want to. I know I'm not going to like." So, what about you, Travis? Are you a reader?
Yeah,
You
I
have
am.
time for it? Yeah. What are you into?
I just started a series called Quarantine.
Quarantine.
It's
Don't know that.
rather dark subject matter. It's about a biological weapon, a virus that gets released into a high school that is hyper lethal to young children and adults.
This
But
sounds so
teenagers are just carriers. So this high school gets infected, and the military comes and quarantines it off, and there's food drops and gangs form. There's the reviews for it, it's being called like the darkest book series ever.
Wow.
It is, but it is so good. I cannot look away from it.
So has this series been around a while, or is it a relatively
It's
new?
fairly new.
And do you know how many are supposed to be in the series, or they don't know?
Right now there's 2. I'm not sure how
Two.
plainly.
Oh, it sounds
far
really
they plan to go
interesting.
with it.
That certainly sounds like movie fodder to me. Sounds like that's something that they would definitely look into. What about, I want to ask you, on the table in front of you, there's a Rolling Stone. It's got Justin Bieber on the front. What are your feelings about Justin Bieber? What do you think, Abby?
I'm honestly not a fan of Justin Bieber.
All right. What do you think about all this behavior and everything that's been going on with him?
I think he's cocky, and he's just trying to like be like, "Hey, look at me, I'm cooler and I'm better than you."
Yeah.
Just
Do you think it's just a phase he's going through here, Travis, or do you think he's really hurting himself for doing all this nonsense? Or don't you care?
Personally, I don't like to pay him much mind. He's
Good. I don't either.
I think he's refusing to come to terms with the fact that his career is kind of dying. Boy bands and people
Yeah.
like him kind of come and go, and he's almost at the end of his.
Yeah, it's too bad because he started off as seemed like a really nice young kid, and I don't know, it just, and then Miley Cyrus. Now, Miley Cyrus, I think she's really talented, but I don't know. How do you feel about Miley?
I like was obsessed with her when I was younger,
I'm sure.
but now with all these like, I just feel like she's just like ruining
You think
her
so?
career.
I don't know. She doesn't seem to be ruining her career. She seems to be
Well,
doing pretty good. I don't know.
I mean, she's just making some bad mistakes.
I think she's making a lot of bad decisions, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be hurting her very much at all. Any thoughts on Miley? Do you at least think she's talented?
You have the same hair.
That's kind of a matter for debate. As for her behavior, along with everything that's been going on with that
Bieber.
and other pop stars right now, neither of them have anything to prove, but they're kind of acting like they have nothing to lose.
Hey, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Is there? When I was teaching third grade, I tried to keep up on music. Oh God, I watched wrestling, so I would know who the wrestlers were because the kids were into wrestling. I tried to know the names of dinosaurs. I would do, we would study dinosaurs. I mean, I tried to keep up with what the kids might be interested in. And so, is there any music out there now that you would like, that you would share to me and thinking, you ought to be listening to this group or this person or anybody out there now that I should be listening to? Because I will go out and buy, if it's a new, like, I like Arcade Fire. I like, there's a lot of big groups out there now that I like. Maroon 5. Are there any groups or singers I should be listening to?
Well, if you like One Direction,
All right, you like One Direction?
yeah.
You do like One Direction.
I'm slowly like kind of drifting away from pop.
Yeah.
Like,
But isn't One Direction pop?
yeah, besides them, I like
Okay.
them.
All right. Now, is it Harry or
No,
Is there
it's,
one in particular? Just the whole? Oh,
it's
I think
Niall.
there's. Okay, yeah. Harry started out as the one that everybody was talking about. But this is the blonde, right? Yeah, yeah. I hear people talking about. Travis, what about you in music? What kind of music are you into?
As for newer things, not a whole lot. Like my favorite band is the Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, all right. You're going back a ways. Yeah. No, I know. I know Blue Oyster Cult. Huh. Do you listen to any of the old standards? Like, do you listen to like Ella Fitzgerald, or do you even you do?
Mm.
You listen to little Ella Fitzgerald? I'm always surprised when somebody says, I have no idea who the Beatles are. I'm sure that Miss Sweet, when she works with you guys, she must do a lot of Beatles work with you. Really? Does she introduce you?
A
No.
whole lot, no.
Well,
I mean, it comes up during British Invasion, but
it doesn't. Okay, I thought she might. Does she try to introduce you to other artists from the past, or any groups, or anything like that, or is it just straightforward what you're working on? Do you?
that's
And she certainly introduces you to show music. You get to now. Being in musicals, are you interested in listening to musicals, soundtracks, or original recordings? Are there any that you really like?
I don't
Any
really
shows?
know. I just kind of like look them up on YouTube and I just listen to them.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Okay.
like whatever one shows up.
Right.
Like, oh, that looks interesting, and then I just.
Oh, okay. You have any musicals that you're interested in?
oh yeah, my two favorite soundtracks would probably be Rent and Cabaret.
I saw Rent. And Cabaret. There's going to be a new Cabaret starting. I think it's in the spring or maybe early summer. With, I don't know if you know Alan Cumming, but Alan Cumming and Michelle Williams, who was married to Heath Ledger. They're supposed to be doing. And then do you know Hedwig and the Angry Inch? Because Neil Patrick Harris, who I think is an all-around talent, he's going to be doing that in New York too. So
That's exciting.
yeah, no, I think he's really good. Did you guys watch the Oscars at all? And did you have any interest in the movies and watching who's going to win awards?
I didn't see the Oscars last
Yeah,
night. No.
you probably doesn't matter that much to you guys. I was so excited for Jared Leto and Matthew McConaughey because the Dallas Buyers Club was such a good movie. There was one of the things I thought we might have a little fun with, talking about pop culture a little bit. Can any of you tell me who Alfonso Cuarón is? Do you know who Alfonso Cuarón?
Doesn't ring a bell.
You don't know that name? Did you see the movie Gravity?
No, I didn't.
He was the director to Gravity. What about, is it Farrell or Pharrell Williams?
Will Ferrell?
I'm not.
Pharrell Williams, right? He has a song that was up for an Academy Award this year called Happy. Do you remember do you know what animated film it was from?
Oh, was it Despicable Me?
Yes, too. Despicable Me too. Ah, good. Yeah, all right. A little pop culture. All right. Who are Meryl Davis and Charlie White? Sounded all familiar?
No. Meryl Davis sounds familiar, but
Well,
doesn't
they
ring a bell,
won
no.
the ice. They won gold for ice dancing in Sochi at the Olympics, and they're going to be on Dancing with the Stars this year. Divergent I had here. Anybody you know who Lupita Nyong'o is? Lupita Nyong'o.
I'm assuming someone else from the Olympics.
No.
No.
She's a beautiful actress from 12 Years a Slave. She has made such she's just a smash every place that she goes. And do you know Pippin is in New York? It's a revival of the show. Do you know what the theme is? How they're doing the show? What the set is? It's done as a circus show, which is really interesting. It's all like circus acts and stuff like that. It's so much fun. And what was there was one more thing. Oh, do you know who Adele Dazeem is? If you're on Twitter, it seems like you would know who Adele Dazeem. Heard that? guess not. Boy, it's
I
big.
know
big.
the other Adele.
Oh yeah, no, she's. You like her as a singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. What about Lords? She's good too, right?
Yeah.
Isn't she pretty good? Yeah, no, Adele Dazeem. John Travolta introduced Idina Menzel from Rent, the original Rent, as Adele Dazeem on the
Oh,
Oscars
I
the other
did
night.
hear that.
Yeah, it's a big thing on Twitter. In fact, this Adele Dazeem even has her own Twitter account now and all that stuff because of the Oscars. All right, well, all right. So not too much up on pop culture. Unfortunately for me, I am a real pop culture freak. So I don't know. Ask me if there's somebody I might know or might not know, or anybody. Can you stump me with something pop culture wise? You can't think of anything. All right, do you watch much TV, either one of you?
I'm a fan of Netflix.
So you watch the movies like you seem to like dark subject matters. Have you watched Bates Motel?
I
love
have
that.
not.
Did you watch it last night?
No.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, you can get it on demand or you'll get it wherever you'll watch it. Yeah. Freddie Highmore and Vera Farmiga are so good in that show. What about Coven? I mean, any of the American Horror Story shows?
I've seen the first season.
I was
That was the
thinking
best.
about getting into that. I don't have cable hooked up to my TV. I just use Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Small power strip. I had to make a decision.
Okay.
I did, however, just start with Dexter, and this is going to be a fun ride.
Yes. It's going to be a fun. Yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster of a ride. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Dexter is. That's quite a show. That's quite a show. So all right. You're a junior, Travis. You're a junior. You're a freshman. How do you feel about your school? I mean, as a student, are there things that are missing at the school that you would like to have there, or do you find that the school works well for you just as it is? Do you have any thoughts about that? Is there anything that the school could be doing or should be doing for students that it's not doing at the moment, or is doing, that's right?
I feel like as of now, like this is still my first year, so I don't really know everything about the school.
Right.
But as of now, I think I like it. It's a lot better than the middle school.
Yeah, you're happier than you were
Oh,
at the
yeah.
middle school. Well, that's good to hear. And Travis, how do how's MAU work for you?
You know what? It's hard to describe. When I first came to the high school, it was a less than pleasant experience, as I'm sure most freshmen would say. And I'll admit, I was a bit of an off kid, so I was kind of an easy target. Talked quite a bit of a stutter.
Yeah. Oh. And has that changed for you now? Now that you've been there?
It has. The theater's helped a lot with that.
Yeah, that's it. Being in a show, it's a family. You become a family. You become very tight knit. Hopefully, I mean, I have been in a cast every once in a while where there's somebody that really we could have done without him. But it brings you together as a family. It makes you you become close. I don't know. There's just no way to explain it. How a cast and a play, how they become so close. I don't understand how these people do these shows and they're in them for months, and they do the same role, 8 times a week in New York City. I don't know how they keep it fresh, how they... Now, there's going to be a lot of, in Almost Maine, which we're talking about, March 13th through the 15th at MAU at 7 o'clock, and a matinee at 2 on Saturday. That would be the 15th. As a family, you work together. You have to work together pretty tightly. Now, in this show, there's going to be a lot of laughs. What are you told about if there are people going to be laughing about holding and stuff like that? Have you gone through that yet? Either one of you?
Yeah, when we do comedies, if there's, we were taught if there's like a large roar of laugh that lines couldn't be heard over, even with mics, just
Sure.
stop, hold or for the laugh, and then continue as soon as it
Right.
lowers.
Sometimes it's hard, and it's also very hard if you hear that big roar of laughter. Sometimes it's hard to remember. Okay, we rehearsed this, and this is the way my character is supposed to be. Sometimes people carry it on a little too much, and then it's not funny. They've tried to milk it a little too much. What are some of the important lessons that you have in working with Mr. Foley, Miss Sweet? What are some of the important lessons that you've learned about acting, about life in general? You know, anything like that?
For acting, Mr. Foley taught me everything I know. I came in there and I was not that great, but I had the dream.
Right. That's wonderful at Mr. Foley, that you feel that he was able to do that for you. I mean, he would really appreciate. Have you told him that? Have you told him how much he's done for you?
Not to his face.
No? Do you think he could ever do it? Maybe your senior year, could you say, Mr. Foley, I mean, I think that's great, because I didn't. When I was in school, I had a hard time. I had a lot of friends and stuff like that, but people often thought of me as being kind of standoffish, which I'm really not, and I'm shy, and a lot of people say, oh, an actor, how can you be shy? I get the idea of maybe, Abby, you may be a little quiet, a little shy at times. Do you find that this is helping you out as an actress, that's it's making you, come a little more alive by being on stage and making, you're not trying to hide behind anything, you're opening yourself up?
I would say from when I started this year, I was incredibly shy, but I've started to break out of my shell a little bit and just start becoming more comfortable and stuff. When I first started, I was more afraid people would judge me, and
I think nobody wants to be judged.
And so eventually, I'm starting to get over that, and
Yeah, I mean, this is the 4th show of Your Friends and Neighbors that I've done. By the way, you are watching Your Friends and Neighbors, and if you didn't hear, I am Willy Jones, your host. I don't really know. This is the 4th show, and I have no idea how I'm being judged by the viewers who are watching the show. I mean, unless somebody calls in and says they don't like something or they do like something, I have no idea. And it's really hard to be doing something like this and know that there are so many people out there judging me, but I have no idea in the world what they're saying about me. And that is kind of a strange feeling to know that. And when there's a difference in doing a play or a musical at MAU. The musicals, I mean, you usually can't find a place to sit. I mean, unless you get the. Oh, do you have to have reservations for this show? This one you don't have to have reservations.
For the musicals, you can order ahead.
Well,
it is possible to get seats at the door.
Yeah, well, it's better to reserve because they pack them in for the musical.
But yes, with their straight plays, you can just show up at the door.
Okay, so Miss Gavers doesn't take reservations, or does she? Do you know?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so. Okay, well, that's good to know, because I usually try to get there early enough to, if I don't have my reservation, but I try to make a reservation ahead of time. Travis, you say that you want to continue with acting. You want to continue with acting. Are you willing to learn other things about the craft other than I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be an actress, and that's it? That's been part of my problem. Sorry, Ryan, I hit my microphone, didn't I? I never really wanted to learn about the lighting, or I've done some directing for the Actors Express at Old Castle. I don't feel I'm a director. But doing the lighting and working on the set, or I know it's just something and it is right. I don't feel that it's right that I just want to be an actor, but I have not learned as much about the whole spectrum of acting as I could. Is that something that you want to try to do, is learn as much about everything as you can, or you're just intent on what I want to do? How do you feel about that?
I feel like I would want to like just have the experience. That way, in case like if they were like to need my help or something, I'd be able to be like, oh yeah, I can do that, like, because I've done it before. But
I had to do lighting for a show once, and I was scared to death. I'm not much as far as into technology or in lighting, and at that time it wasn't as computerized as it is now, and I mean, I had wires all over the place, and I was so confused and plugging stuff in. It drove me crazy. But after I had done it, I thought, all right, you did it, you got through it, you survived. Yeah, what about you, Travis? Is it something you want to study the whole?
I like to have the experience, just so that I know what I'm doing. But career-wise, I'm very, very intent on acting. I'm a performer.
Have you decided? Have you got a thought of where you'd like to go for school when you graduate?
I'm applying to AMDA.
Oh, that's Amanda Garcia, who directed.
Dream Sequence.
Yeah, Dream Sequence. She went to AMDA, and I remember the other day, when she was here for a taping, she said at first she realized it was a little difficult, but she stuck with it, and she was glad that she did. Oh, that'd be good. You should, if you get a chance to talk to Amanda Garcia. She went there. Maybe you know some other people that went there.
No, but I have talked to Amanda.
You have? Oh, good. Yeah, I know. Part of the problems in being in high school productions too is that the audiences are, because most of them are family members, relatives. Many of the young actors, they feel, oh, I'm wonderful, I'm great, everybody's applauding, everybody's standing and stuff like that. And sometimes you find out that when you go a little further, and like you really want to go on to AMDA, you find out that maybe there's a lot of people just as talented or more talented than you. And I think it's a little hard at first for some of these people, some of these young people who say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be a star. You sound like you are going to work on it very hard. And I feel, Amanda, that you really, I don't know, somebody's telling you to be a little more realistic, and I think you'll probably listen to that. I think you will. As I said, you've got quite a long time before you have to go on and make that decision. But I mean, I hope both of you can do it. I think it'd be great. It'd be wonderful to be able to say, oh, I talked to him a few years ago. Yeah. All right, Travis, you went ahead and you did it. Would you stick with your name, Travis Cordeaux? It does have a nice ring to it.
I think I would.
Yeah, I like that. Travis Cordeaux. Yeah, it sounds good. Would you stick with Abby Hensley?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't understand when these, they change people's names and they go along with it. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. As I said before, the reason we are here today, mainly, we're trying to get it across that we are talking about the production at MAU, Almost Maine, 13th to the 15th, right in those blue seats. I wish somebody with a lot of money would say to the school, here's the money, please put some new seats in the auditorium. Those blue seats have been there since, I don't know, probably since the place was built. They need some new seats. So anyways, watching our show today, if you have a lot of money, why don't you say, I'd like to take care of those seats, the blue seats, because as a teacher we have our meetings there quite often, and we would. Anyways, I stopped teaching in '98, but man, those blue seats. You bring a pillow. If you have a back problem, bring a little pillow with you or something like that. Does it bother you when there are people out in the audience who are snoring because they've fallen asleep, or they're the pieces of candy, or somebody gets a bad cough and they don't leave the auditorium? Does that bother you, or are you so intent on doing your character that you just completely ignore it?
Those problems are fairly rare because we're not open for too long, 3 nights.
Right.
So, and our audiences are genuinely polite. When it does happen, we don't let it distract us.
Right, you can't.
We're pretty intent on doing what we're doing. We've had hecklers a few times, like shouting things.
Oh, yeah, I don't need that.
It didn't distract us.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing.
But what gets me is these professional actors, like Kevin Spacey was talking about it on Jimmy Kimmel the other night, and he was in some play playing the king of I don't know, some show. I can't remember what the show was, but I mean, he would go to the front of the stage and tell people to stop it, to be quiet. He'd break that fourth wall. He would decide that I'm not going to put up with it. And a lot of professional actors do that. I can remember going down to Williamstown Theater Festival years ago, and many of the actors very respected actors working at Williamstown Theater Festival, and they'd be doing it, and all of a sudden you hear them call for a line. And I think, I cannot believe that they're calling for a line. These are professional actors. And do you have somebody on book off stage in case somebody does fumble, or is it up to you to help out your neighbor, the other person you're working with? Are there somebody off stage with a book?
It's up to us, but there's usually scripts offhand if we just need a quick refresher.
Oh, okay. Do you find it easy to learn lines?
It really depends on the show.
Yeah, you're right. That's yes. If I love the character, it's a cinch. If I'm not that crazy about the character, what about you? Do you have easy learning lines?
At first it's a little difficult for me, but after I practice after a while, it's not that bad.
Okay. All right. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you guys today. I'm really looking forward to seeing the show. I'm hoping the show gets on before the show begins, but just to remind people, I've got to keep reminding everybody, what's the name of the show?
Almost Maine.
And when is it going to be on, Travis? What time?
The 13th, the 15th, and the 16th. 7 o'clock.
Oh, there's going to be the 16th too?
No, 17th.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday,
right?
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
7 o'clock, and on Saturday there's a matinee at 2.
Okay. And why should people go see this show?
Because it's a good show. It's
a nice evening out. Lots of laughs. It's a story you'll want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're wonderful stories. Really, really. I think the writing in this is so good. And this is playing in New York right now. It's off Broadway, and getting very good reviews, as I understand it. So, well, I know we're coming to the end of our show here this afternoon of Your Friends and Neighbors. I want to thank Travis Cordeau, great name for stage, and Abby Hensley for being here today. These poor guys, there were going to be 4 actors here today, and you guys really, you had to take the brunt of this today, and I'm really really pleased with everything that went on. And when we end the show, we usually end with a quote. And my quote today, this quote is from Marilyn Monroe, and I think this is very apropos for both of you. And at one point she said, "We are all stars. All we demand is our right to twinkle." And it sounds like both of you are demanding for that right to twinkle as actors. So I respect that, and I wish you luck. and let's say break a leg, like we do before a show. And I thank you again for being here.
I take a long look around, I have to say, this time of year, it becomes clear, those you hold dear, you draw them near, this time of day.